Well, welcome once again to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple. Thank you for joining us virtually here today for our YouTube Sunday service. Today's service is for June 13th, 2021, and this is just our regular Sunday family service. We already began our service with the ringing of the Kansho bell, and so now we will continue with the Vandana and Tisarana and the Sutra Chanting Gasho to Amida. After that, we will recite the Golden Chain of Love, and I will share a Dharma message with you. And after the Dharma message, we will recite or sing the Metta, the loving kindness meditation, followed by the singing of the Nembutsu. After that, we will have some closing words and some announcements. So once again, thank you so much for being here today and joining us today. And let's begin our service now by putting our hands together in Gasho and having a moment of quiet reflection as we begin our service. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Bhutang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Namo Amida Butsu. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I gasho to Amida, trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I gasho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall.
From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. Aiga Shotu Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. Aiga Shotu Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. Aiga Shotu Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. Aiga Shotu Amida. Nembutsu in work and play, every day with Amida, every moment filled with light. Aiga Shotu Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. Aiga Shotu Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, Aiga Shotu Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. Aiga Shotu Amida. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Well, thank you very, very much for joining us again today. And at this time, I'd like to share some thoughts about the Buddha's teaching with you. So let's begin by reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So there is a famous poem by the great American poet Robert Frost, which many of you have at least heard of. It's called The Road Not Taken. And many people are familiar with the well-known self-help book called The Road Less Traveled that took its title from that poem. I would like to share the whole poem with you right now first and talk about it a little bit because I think it has a lot to say to us. It's not long, but since it's a poem, you really have to read it carefully. And of course, poetry should always be read out loud. So here is the poem, The Road Not Taken, by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So that's a very interesting poem, I think. It's usually interpreted, I think, just listening to it, its surface meaning, to mean that the best path is always the one less traveled by. Not the beaten path, but the not so beaten path. It's a popular idea, you know, that it's good to be different, right? In our culture, it's good to be different. In fact, you have to be different. In fact, being different is like conforming to a different kind of normal. But you know, everyone wants to be a unique individual. And so people believe that if you go by a different path than the majority of people take, you will do better for yourself, whatever that better is, you know. In the poem it says that taking the less traveled way has made all the difference, he says, has made all the difference. Many people take this to mean that it's always better to take the less popular path. Of course, I think it's good to reflect and make your own choices in life, and it's very good advice for anyone to not follow the crowd or go with what is currently popular, because that changes all the time. It's just a whim, you know, most of the time. But the idea of being different and going your own way is always being better is not necessarily the best way either. In our culture, individualism is highly valued, but in Buddhism, the individual path is always seen as connected to the paths that everyone is on, the paths everyone are uniquely and individually on. So whether I take the more or less traveled way, I'm actually walking together on the path of life with others, with all beings, because my life is connected to everyone else's life. If I think that because I took a different way, my choice is better than that of others, I may be flattering and deceiving myself. More importantly, we should ask ourselves whether the path I am on now is one that will bring wholeness and true benefit for myself and for others. We all need to look critically on the paths we have chosen to travel and to question whether it is the way we need to be going or ought to be going. I don't think that Robert Frost intended to convey the idea that the less traveled way is the objectively superior one. On the contrary, in this poem, he seems to be telling us that when he encountered a certain crossroad in his life, he could have taken either path, and that, in fact, both were equally good, though he says the one he chose did have a little less traffic on it. What he tells us is that he happened to take the less traveled path, and that has made a difference, or all the difference, for him in some way. Not necessarily for others, though. Not because it was really better, but because he expected more success, or he achieved more success on that less traveled way, or that he thought it would be easier. He just felt it was the path he needed to take at that time. That's all. It was the right path for him at that juncture, at that crossroad. In fact, he tells us that he kept the first for another day. He hoped to come back another day and take the other path. And maybe if this one didn't work out, he would he would be able to do that, come back and do the other thing, except that knowing how life is, he says he doubted if he should ever come back. Of course, that's really talking about old age and ultimately death. We never know if we'll ever be here in this moment, in this crossroad again. So in that sense, this poem is about the limitations of life, about growing older, realizing that our time is limited, and recognizing the impermanence and the transience of all of our plans. We all encounter crossroads throughout our lives. We don't really know what any path has in store for us, but we always have to choose some path, don't we? Some path. We always have to go one way or another. We can't just stand still forever. One way is not necessarily better, since better and worse are really very relative judgments that we make. But once we choose a way, we have to travel on it, and travel as best as we can, at least until we reach the next crossroad. In my own life, I have occasionally thought it would be nice to be able to go back to one of the crossroads that I passed and choose an alternate way, choose the other road, But those crossroads, those choices, actually have been left behind. And I too can say that I doubt if I should ever come back. The paths I have chosen have taken me in all kinds of unexpected directions to reach the here and now, right now. The here and now is where our choices always and continually bring us, always, to right now, right here. Because if we are mainly focused on goals and outcomes in our lives, not where I am now, not where the path may take me, but where the path I've decided should take me, my goal, my intention, So many people are focused on goals and outcomes in their life, Then when we're focused that way, we have a hard time to hear the inner voice that compels us to take the path which might well be best when we actually encounter it. We always keep looking ahead, looking for the best path, the best road. We're always looking ahead to the prize, But paradoxically, the prize we seek is never really attainable. All of life's prizes, all the big goals we seek, they always elude us one way or another, until at last we come to understand that the journey itself is the goal. The journey itself is the goal. Let me tell you a Buddhist story that I think kind of illustrates this. So, a young but very sincere Buddhist monk approached his teacher, his master, and he asked him, "If I work very hard and diligently, how long will it take me to attain enlightenment?" So enlightenment or awakening refers to the state of having overcome one's limited nature and attained the mind of the Buddha. It is often thought of as being the goal of Buddhism, but even though this is theoretically true, even Buddhist goals, like all attachments, all things that we hope that we can get for ourselves somehow, hope we can attain or achieve, they need to be let go of. And so the master thought about this and replied, I think it will take you 10 years. So the student was kind of disappointed. That's a long time. I want to be enlightened. I want to get my enlightenment now, he was thinking. So he said, but what if I work very, very hard and really apply myself much more than I've been doing? How long do you think it will take then? The master replied, well, in that case, it will take 20 years. Not 10, but 20 years. And the student was a little perplexed, but he said, look, what if I really, really, really work hard, and never even sleep? I'll just work night and day to attain enlightenment. How long do you think it will take then? In that case, the master said, it will take at least 30 years. So the student was very disappointed, this young monk, and puzzled, and he said, Master, I don't understand. Each time I say I will work harder, you say it will take me longer. How can that be? The teacher answered him, it is the path that leads to enlightenment. The goal of enlightenment is just something in your mind, just a figment in your mind. When you are on the path, just be on the path and keep your focus on the path. If your eyes are focused on the goal, you will not see the path. The path itself is enlightenment. I think this is a really good lesson for us in this story. Whether it is in the realm of family or relationships or career or any of the aspects of our life, or even for us in our temple here, experiencing as we have difficulties, worrying about the state of the temple, aging membership and all those kinds of things. It's the same thing though. We think, what do I have to do to achieve this or that goal? How can I be happy? How can I make more money? How can we have more members for our temple? And so on. But the Dharma teaches us that all the anxiety and worry over fulfilling our goals is not only unnecessary, but actually counterproductive. If we keep our attention on the path we are walking and our hearts open to choose the right direction when a choice is before us, then there is nothing to fear. We will find the true fulfillment for ourselves and for others on the path and nowhere else. Of course, we have an idea of where we're going, and certainly we must choose the ways and means which are in accordance with the end we desire. But we should never be too sure that we know what the best goal is, for ourselves or for others, or even if there is a final end. The most terrible and destructive episodes in human history, they occur when individuals, societies, nations, communities have the philosophy that the end justifies the means. This concept is the absolute opposite of Buddhist teaching, as well as the teachings of all true religions, actually. It's the antithesis of the true spiritual path. It is completely unwholesome. The end justifies the means. It is a completely unwholesome idea. In Buddhism, we can never accept this. As Buddhists, we must always say the end is already contained in whatever means we use, just as the path to enlightenment is itself enlightenment. That's the meaning, you see. It has moral as well as spiritual implication. And so if we walk the path of understanding, humility, kindness, and tolerance, then we have already created a world of understanding, humility, kindness, and tolerance. It already exists in the path we are walking. It already exists in the very thought and intention to walk that path. As Buddhists, it is through seeking to hear and understand the Dharma, the Buddhist teaching, that the right path becomes clear to us. The living Dharma itself shows us the way to walk, which road to choose, and opens us to see the meaning of whatever path we are on. May we all continue to walk this path of Dharma, Let us take it step by step and moment by moment, and not worry too much about where it is leading us. Because the Dharma always leads us exactly where we need to go. So thank you very much for listening, and let us put our hands together in Gassho and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Well, thank you once again for joining us here today for our online YouTube Sunday service here at Kahului Hongwanji. So this week was just a YouTube service only. Next week, which will be the June 20th, we will be having an in-person service in the temple as well as the online service. And it's the same thing for the following week after that, the fourth Sunday of June, the 27th. Next week, June 20th, is also Father's Day, so we will be observing that in both our video and our in-person service. And we will, during our in-person service, we will also be honoring the graduates in our community, in our temple community, who have graduated this year, and so it's an opportunity to honor them. So if you're able to come to that service, if you're here in Maui, able to come, please do. And as far as Father's Day is concerned, of course, we'll talk about that at both services. So, the 27th is a regular Sunday, no special service, but we do our family gratitude remembrance at every fourth Sunday, if possible. So we'll be remembering all those who have memorial services during the month of June, and for our in-person as well as our video. Okay, so a few more announcements. First year memorial for Obon, what we call Hatsubon. This year, because we're not having a Bon dance, we have decided to have our public Hatsubon services on Saturday, July 11th and July 24th, 2 Saturdays in a row. And on each of those days, the services will be at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So there'll be 4 services altogether. So you have to, if you do have someone who has had a funeral this year, someone who's passed away since last Bon season, you should be receiving a letter from us if you had the funeral or some kind of service through us. If not, please call us. If there's someone you'd like to remember, call us, and we can try to schedule you at one of those 4 services. And we accept requests, but we do have to spread everyone out because we're still required to have our social distancing. So we need to spread everyone out over those 4 services. So just so you're aware of that. But do call the temple office if you are interested or have any questions. We do have our Kalua pork and lomi salmon fundraiser. Pickup will be next Saturday, June 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And however, the tickets are all sold out. So if you haven't bought your ticket yet, it's too late. But so that you're aware of when the pickup is, so you need to come during that time to pick up your order. And if you have any questions, again, please call the office. And so I think that's all of our announcements. So thank you again for participating today, and I hope this was meaningful for you. So let's conclude our service by reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Every day.